Welcome everyone to Hump Day, Wednesday, March the 1st, 2023. Brickhouse here with another video. This one's kind of close to home for me. Granted, I'm a couple hours away from Chicago, but still, Chicago kind of rules the roost in the state of Illinois. So yesterday was the mayoral election in Chicago, and some good news. Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who I like to call Beetlejuice, is done. Toast. Out. See ya. Don't let the door hit ya. Chicago Democrat Lori Lightfoot on Tuesday became the Windy City's first incumbent mayor in over 40 years to lose re-election, as rising crime in the city steered voters away from the embattled leader. Well, no kidding. You hear every week about the gun violence in Chicago. And yet she does nothing about it. Receiving only 16.4% of the vote, Lightfoot 60 finished behind former head of Chicago Public Schools Paul Vallas and Cook County Commissioner Brandon Johnson in Tuesday's race. Vallas, who took 35% of the vote, and Johnson, who garnered 20.2% of the vote, will head to an April 4th runoff election to determine who will be the city's next mayor. I will be rooting and praying for our next mayor, Lightfoot said in her concession speech. She called being Chicago's mayor an honor of a lifetime. Yeah, such an honor. You ruined the city. Totally ruined the city. I mean, I haven't been up to the city of Chicago and actually downtown in a few years, but this lady here has ruin the city. She's not a Harold Washington. She's not a Jane Byrne. Heck, she's, granted, I didn't like Mayor Daley all that much, but she's not even in his class. I mean, how she got elected, I have no idea. Heading into Tuesday's race, Lightfoot's prospects appeared bleak as she trailed multiple candidates in numerous polls, which showed that worries over crime and public safety were the top concerns of voters in America's third largest city. One recent poll noted that Vallas's lead over Lightfoot had been expanding in days leading up to Tuesday's election. Lightfoot has faced heavy criticism for rampant crime that has plagued Chicago during her tenure, as well as for injecting race into the election. Well, I hate to tell you, that's not a surprise. Not a surprise at all. And saying that voters who didn't support her shouldn't show up to the polls. Well, guess what, Mrs. Former Mayor? You got your wish. Under Lightfoot, Chicago recorded 695 murders at the end of 22 and 804 in 2021, a level not seen in the Windy City in a quarter century. Theft was up. Not a surprise. The first three weeks of 2023, crime rates in the city had skyrocketed by 61% compared to the previous year, 2022. That's according to the Chicago police. Lightfoot alleged in the New Yorker on Saturday that critics of her 4-year tenure just don't want to see, quote-unquote, a black woman in leadership. No, it's not the fact they don't want to see a black woman in leadership. They don't want to see a radical in leadership. And you, Mrs. Lightfoot, are a radical. Period. End of story. The same forces that didn't want Harold Washington to succeed, they're still here, she told the New Yorker, referring to the Democrat who was elected in 1983. No, again, wrong. I can't say it anymore. Wrong. Granted, I was 12 years old when Harold Washington got elected, but those same forces are not there. Harold Washington, in my opinion, from what I can remember, was a classic liberal. He was not a radical like you are, Mrs. Lightfoot. Not even close. The last time we had an African-American mayor in power was 40 years ago, and it's important for us not to repeat history. Lightfoot made the claim despite 8 of 9 mayoral candidates in Tuesday's race being people of color. Again, why is it's always about race? Race has nothing to do with it. That's the root of the problem. Everything isn't about race. It's the fact that you stink at your job. Okay? Has nothing to do about your race. You stink at your job. Crime is up. Murders are up. Violence is up within the city, all under your watch. But yet you say it's about race. It's not. The mayor claimed that voting for somebody not named Lightfoot is a vote for Che Guevara or Paul Vallis, referring to her, or Chuy Garcia, excuse me, not Che Guevara, Chuy Garcia, or Paul Vallis, referring to her challengers. If you want them controlling your fate and your destiny, then stay home, Lightfoot continued. Then don't vote. Well, the voters did what she told them to do, and that was they either stayed home or they voted for somebody else. She later told reporters she did not mean to suggest voters should sit out the election. Well, that's what you told them to do. Vallis, the top vote getter on Tuesday, was endorsed by Chicago's Fraternal Order of Police, and on the campaign trail, he decried the quote-unquote utter breakdown of law and order in the city under Lightfoot, and that is 100% correct. Vallis, 69, called for adding hundreds of police officers to combat the out-of-control crime in Chicago. Lightfoot has criticized Vallis, the only white candidate in the field, as being too conservative for Chicago, accusing him of using the ultimate dog whistle. See, that there again, interjecting race where race makes no difference. This is part of the problem with our country and our discourse right now, is everything is broken down to race. And it's not about race. It's the fact that, like I said earlier, you sucked at your job. Johnson, who will be Vallis's opponent in April, received the coveted Chicago Teachers Union endorsement. Well, here we go. Chicago Teachers Union, most powerful union in the country, and had support from several other progressive organizations, including United Working Families. Lightfoot blasted Johnson during a debate earlier this month, repeatedly saying that his plan to combat crime would make Chicago less safe. Okay. How is his plan? And granted, I don't know what his plan is. Okay. Like I said, I live 2 hours out of the city of Chicago, 2.5 hours approximately. So I'm not in the city. I didn't hear the debates. So again, if you're going to say that somebody's plan to combat crime would make Chicago less safe, how will it make it less safe? And here in the next little sentence, it kind of spells it out. If he's not willing to commit to not defunding the police, he's going to have less officers on the street, and our communities are going to be less safe. Like I said, I didn't hear the debates. I don't know what the policy stances are for Mr. Johnson as far as it comes to the Chicago Police Department. But still, the tone deafness of Lori Lightfoot interjecting race where it has no place to be. I mean, this lady has taken a great city and turned it into a pit in 4 years. And again, I haven't been to the city in quite a while. Usually if I go up there to do some things and to visit and to enjoy, basically enjoy the surrounding area and the suburbs, because it's safer. I mean, you know, granted, I will have to say this. I did go up to the city last summer. we went up to Wrigleyville, so we weren't downtown in the Loop. We were Wrigleyville, went to a Cub game a couple summers ago. We weren't in the Loop. We were in the South End, Guaranteed Rate Field, to see a White Sox game. But we pretty much stayed out of the city proper and stayed out of the Loop, stayed out of downtown. So, you know, again, it's been a while since I've actually been downtown in the city of Chicago. But yeah, it's not good. It's not good at all. So just wanted to cover this one this morning since it's kind of close to me, and it does affect the state politics where I live here in the great state of Illinois. I say that tongue in cheek. But if you like the content I'm putting out, like my videos, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell to get notified when I post new videos. I'll probably have a couple more later today, possibly. I try to put out at least one a day during the week, Monday through Friday. Kind of take the weekends off because, you know, I do have a day job too. But anyway, that's it for right now. We will see you in the next video. Have a great Wednesday, everybody.